Hey there, everybody. You're looking at the newest news vehicle for Alabama's 13, Interceptor vehicle. I want to give kudos to MGFX and Jim Doyle. They did an awesome job on this design. Went through a lot of iterations. They were very patient with us and very skilled, and we're just thrilled with the results. The images that you're looking at on the side of the car are not just eye candy, they're actually very significant and symbolic for us here. Chief Meteorologist Jerry Tracy joins me now. Jerry, as we look at these radar images on the vehicle, the Interceptor vehicle, I mean, what are they?
As you look at the echoes here in the different colors, Gene, this particular part of the vehicle, basically from the front doors on toward the hood, are all about what happened on April 27, 2011. Obviously a horrible day in the history of Alabama. Really one of the two worst days in terms of our weather's history when so many people lost their lives. And you're looking at hook echoes and you're looking at radar presentations of the terrible tornadoes that day.
And these actual storms, as we go around the vehicle here and rotate around it, I mean, these are the storms that hit Coleman, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, other communities in our viewing area.
So many of our communities, at one point there were 8 strong to violent tornadoes on the ground at the same time within the viewing area. And I've been doing this a long time and I've never seen anything like that before. Hopefully within our lifetimes we'll not see that kind of thing again.
And then the hurricane on the back of the vehicle here, this is not just, you know, any hurricane. This is actually the signature from Hurricane Ivan, which was more devastating than Katrina for Alabama.
In this state it was, and it was 1 year before Katrina. It happened in 2004. Over 500,000 people lost power in that storm. There was a tremendous amount of devastation done at Dauphin Island, surrounding coastal communities. And if it hadn't been for Katrina, of course, that storm would still be talked about all the time. But because of Katrina afterwards, we kind of forget Ivan, but it was a devastating storm.
And as you look at the branding on the side of the vehicle, Interceptor is the new positioning that we're adopting for our forecasting and severe weather technology. Interceptor radar, Interceptor storm pursuit vehicles, Interceptor forecasts. It's a word that we tested in our most recent research project, and it was returned very favorably. So that's why the positioning and why we've got that branding on the side.
And it's kind of an indication of what are we trying to do when we forecast the weather. We're trying to be ahead of everything. We're not trying to tell you what has happened. We're trying to tell you what's coming. And that's what that word means, is talking about getting there before the storm in terms of showing you the radar, in terms of being on the scene before the storm hits, just being ahead of the game.
And we're looking at now probably the most important image on the vehicle. What are we looking at here?
There's not a meteorologist in the country, Gene, who would not look at this and not know what it is. This is one of the most dramatic examples of a hook echo you'll ever see, and we associate hook echoes with tornadoes. When they're that well defined, it indicates a violent storm. And you're actually looking here in the middle of it at something called a debris ball, which is something we didn't even talk about a decade ago. And that's literally people's lives being lifted up into the sky. I mean, it's picking up of whatever, houses, insulation, wallboard, and it's just lifting it up, and that shows up on the radar as a very definite presentation, and it always means a very bad tornado.
And of course, there's nobody in the state that wasn't touched in one way or another by this terrible event on April 27th, 2011. And so in light of that, you know, as we talked about the design for the vehicle, we felt it was appropriate to put this here on the hood in remembrance of those people that lost their lives that day.
And at the end of the day, you know, we can talk about the meteorology, we can talk about the weather effects, but it's how it affects people. And that number there, of course, indicates that so many lives were tragically ended on that horrible day.